to vote is only the first step.
We meet again, Mr. Kimura. In a more...
Dr. Reed. Still visiting London by night?
We must both be nocturnal animals, you and I. After your captivity, I thought you'd be more cautious.
Breathing the cold night air helps calm my mind, sir. I've had the most frightening nightmares since I escaped that filthy jail.
How is the situation in the West End?
I've heard rumors about armed men patrolling and fighting infected citizens in these very streets. I was lucky they didn't shoot me when I was abducted.
May I ask you what you do for a living, Mr. Kimura?
I was a landlord. A wealthy one. And not a very kind one, I realized recently.
Why this sudden epiphany? Is it because of your near-death experience?
I was already feeling nostalgic about Weymouth, my hometown. With recent events, I'm thinking about going back there.
What can you tell me about your abduction?
If you really want to know, I was locked in that building for 3 or 4 days. My jailer was insane. Mumbling about sacrifice and voices.
And why didn't he sacrifice you?
That was the weirdest part. He claimed to spill blood was not enough. It had to be done when some stars were aligned.
Which stars?
That's the whole point. He wanted me to talk to him about some Red Queen configuration or constellation. I've never heard of such an astronomical term.
What did he say about voices?
He constantly whined about the voice of his master, ordering him to do terrible things. He wanted to silence the voice by offering blood. My blood.
Why are you so nostalgic for your hometown, Tadao?
I was focused so much on making money, I almost forgot that my relatives and friends are threatened by this epidemic.
Have you heard anything from your family?
I was not only a bad landlord, I was also a bad husband. I've not seen my wife and son for years. Busy, busy, busy.
At least now you're ready to go back and see them. But don't be surprised if your son bears a grudge, sir.
You make it sound like you suffered from an absent father yourself, Dr. Reed. Well, I'll keep your warning in mind.
Have you no friends at all?
Over the years, I'm afraid my greed turned me into my friend's adversary, while I became friends with my professional rivals.
Those you grew up with didn't share your views on money and success.
Would you believe I was once a member of poetry circles and an astronomy club? We were young, such joyful dreamers then, that I stopped laughing long ago.
Can you change? And is it what you really want? If so, it must come from within, not without.
I've seen what an altruistic gesture can do. Nothing forced you to save me, Dr. Reed, but you did. I will follow your example in these matters from now on.
There is no need to thank me. Rescuing a London citizen should not be out of the ordinary, though I'm afraid it may appear so in these difficult times.
You did not only rescue me, you fought for me. You put your life in danger to save me. That's quite extraordinary.
How will you cope if you're attacked again?
I don't know. I've heard about these men and women who patrol the West End every night, chasing criminals like my abductor. Maybe I should join them.
Goodbye, Mr. Kimura. Take care.
Want some of this? Die, Granny!
It's locked, all right.
Hello, Jonathan. How are things on the West End front?
Complicated, my friend. The rich and powerful feel threatened by the disease, and have asked me to put an end to it.
Yes. It is odd how resolving a crisis suddenly increases in urgency when it affects those who matter.
It looks like the epidemic is spreading to the western districts of London. I am trying to locate the source of the infection.
It won't be an easy task, my friend. This disease is highly contagious.
Since this epidemic is evidently linked to the vampire curse, we must find the original carrier to understand where it comes from.
I admire your logic, Jonathan, but be careful. Rationality, when it comes to your kind, is not always a reliable lens.
Do you not think epidemiology could be helpful in this matter? To retrace the origin of infection through time and topology?
If anyone can perform such a miracle, it will be you, Dr. Reed.
Do you know Aloysius Dawson, the famous tycoon, is well versed in vampire and occult knowledge?
No, I did not. But that is no surprise. For half a century, it has been quite the trend for English nobility to join secret societies and occult circles.
But Aloysius Dawson is only a rich merchant.
Yes, richer than Croesus. Wealth is more respected than title these days, even in England.
Did he contact the Brotherhood of St. Paul? Try to join your group?
It would not surprise me, but I am certain he's never been a member.
Does the Brotherhood of St. Paul know anything about the Ascalon Club?
Well, I'm afraid that's unlikely. Ascalon is a sensitive topic, and whatever material the Brotherhood has, I may not have access to.
Who could answer me then?
Usher Talltree, our current primate, may be the only one able to answer you. He's a discreet man who lives in the West End.
Thank you for your time, Edgar. Done.
This is no time for self-pity. It is the last thing our patients need.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you require
I will be fine. As soon as...
I will see you later. Goodbye. Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any...
Do you need any medical assistance?
Yes, indeed. But don't worry.
I will see. Good.
Can you remind me why we still work?
Mine! I'll take it. Oh my God!
Can't you just look the other way? This week, Joe. Come on, we can sort it out, right?
It's not my call, Baron. We paid one way or another.
Please, Joe. How long have we known each other?
Good evening, Chris.
Change your mind, Mr.
Do you need any assistance?
It depends on the...
I am shocked that you would think I am that sort of man.
Forgive my suspicion. I'm so used to liars with good manners. Thank you, sir.
How are the conditions in Whitechapel these days?
When I think about all the people who died trying to reach England, it seems we escaped a war just to die on foreign shores.
Clayton Darby claims he will expose the crisis in Whitechapel to all of London. Do you believe him?
I believe Clayton's courage will erode with time, until he finally leaves Whitechapel to start another fight somewhere else.
Are you talking from experience?
I've seen your type come here to get a good fuck in a cheap room or a dark alley before going back to their fancy houses in the West End.
Why this skepticism?
How can you speak about starvation if you've never been hungry? Or about poverty? Or anything else you have never suffered from?
Christina, have you been examined?
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't...
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been
I always thought I was the master of my own fate. But now I know we don't always have control over our lives. I don't judge you.
You know, this money is not only for me. I have good reasons to need this money quickly, but it is not your concern, Doctor.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can. Hello, Mr. Petrescu.
Hello, Dr. Reed. Come on in. Yes?
Do you need some help, Mr. Petrescu?
I am very tired, but that...
Well, if you feel all right. How is the sanitary situation in...
We hold on, despite the epidemic. Armed patrols have been seen in the vicinity for a few nights, but they stayed away from the dispensary.
Tell me everything you know about Camellia, the mute florist.
I do not believe in the afterlife, Doctor, but I'm almost convinced Camellia is an angel. She volunteered to give out our medical leaflets.
Tell me everything. How is Nurse Crane these days?
I don't know what you told her, what kind of deal you made, but Dorothea seems less anxious recently. Thank you for that, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Mr. Petrescu.
You are blinded by your false faith, imprisoned by your daily routine.
Good evening, Doctor. Can I...
Do you need assistance?
That would be nice of you, Doctor. Who knows what I may have caught during my investigation.
I will see. Good.
Some of us come to this world already touched by grace.
This is now my domain! You cannot win this! This is mine!
Sorry, sir. No admittance.
carnage. Is Father Whitaker's disciple among the bodies, I wonder? This man's far too old to be Samuel. No. By the look of his clothes, this man's a docker. It's locked.
A big part of Vampyr involves curing the myriad of sicknesses plaguing the people of London. Curing people keeps the district healthy and can increase the blood quality. There's more than one place you can find them. A quick rundown on how sickness works in this game. Randomly, when you progress the day by going to sleep, people will become sick. Each district has a health meter beside it. If the district is considered healthy, then very little sickness should spread, while if its health is serious or critical, then more people in that district will gain sickness and at higher levels.
The second and third tiers of cures in Vampyr can be a little difficult to find. River. So here's a quick guide. Just south of the hospital along the river, you can find the lung-based cures in this chest. Simply go back to your workbench, analyze them, and you'll have access to the second tier. For the third tier, you'll have to go to the cemetery. Starting from the big cross in the center of the circular area, walk through the west gate and turn left. You'll find this corpse at the bottom of a broken wall. Search him in the center of the circular area. Walk through the west cross in the center of the circular. For the third tier, you'll have to go to the cemetery. Starting from the big cross in the center of the circular area, walk through the west gate and turn left. You'll find this corpse at the bottom of a broken wall. Search him to find a set of notes.
Watch yourselves! There's one of them! Filthy piece of shit! Back in the grave!
Good evening, Doc.
Do you need it?
That would be nice of you.
I will see you later. Goodbye.
Good evening.
You look ill, Miss.
My...
Well, there you have it. Take this remedy, but be discreet. It may damage your business otherwise.
Thank you.
I'd like to...
Good evening.
I'd...
When science fails you, this elixir will give you faith again.
Good evening, Benjamin. Can I help you?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Reed.
You don't seem well, Benjamin. Do you need a...
I always feel ill, sir. It's like I'm never right.
I can try to help your body heal, sir. But you must stop destroying it.
The war destroyed me, Doctor.
A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper make a terrible cocktail, sir. Goodbye for now.
All your problems, as long as you have the money.
so
I'm quite busy, right?
Do you need...
Don't be...
Then you are lucky that...
I wish this hospital could have received as much...
Thank you.
As for me, what a blundering idiot.
Good evening.
And good evening to you.
Do you need my medic...
I would have been confused if any...
There is no shame in helping each other. We're colleagues, after all.
Many doctors I have known are too cynical to think that way.
Good...
I will not let you down, my boy.
Good evening.
Do you need medical...
Well, the proximity of the dead is...
Goodbye. Good evening, Miss...
I need blood, Doctor.
Do you require...
My condition cannot be understood.
Well, until the day science finally admits failure, please accept this little contribution.
Thank you, Doctor. Your efforts are admirable.
I'll leave... Good evening, nurse.
Good evening.
Do you require...
I will be fine.
I will... Good... Good evening.
Dr. Rick...
Do you need...
Yes.
I will... Good... Good evening.
Evening, Doc.
Do you need medical attention?
Don't get me wrong, sir. I'm grateful for what you've done, but I've never felt comfortable with doctors.
Good... Hello.
Good evening.
Are you concerned about the living con...
Of course I am. I'll be stuck here for as long as Oswald refuses to go to hospital. And, unfortunately, it seems the violence is rising.
What kind of...
I believe people have armed themselves and start...
Do you need
Afraid so.
Throughout history, some diseases have done more damage to armies than any weapon created by...
You're working at the Pembroke Hospital, aren't you?
Goodbye.
disgust on every street corner. A daily route.
And I thought last summer's epidemic was difficult.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Do you require...
I will...
Nurse.
I'll try, Doctor.
Good. Good evening.
Doctor...
Do you need...
Yeah,
I have no doubt about it, but you are still ill all the same.
I appreciate your concern, Dr. Reed. To be honest, I just did not take the time to diagnose myself.
Good evening.
Do you need medical...
Well, the proximity of the dead is not the most healthy company.
Don't take too many risks with your health, Mr.
And that is a good thing. Death and disease is a constant reminder of our mortality. But you have my thanks, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Mr. Chidana.
Spotted!
Watch out! Kill you! I hate late.
It's one of them!
Steady, boys! We've got one of them here!
Good evening, sir. Please forgive me for disturbing you. I'm a doctor.
I never judge a man by his title, but by his attitude. And you are not disturbing me at all. I am Calhoun Russell, and I welcome you.
Well, I must admit, it's good to receive a warm welcome for once. I'm Jonathan Reed.
Welcome, Dr. Reed. Welcome to my humble shop.
Is it not a little too late to be trading?
On the contrary, it is the perfect hour. Believe me, my friend, it is always at night that you meet the most fascinating characters.
So you prefer to work at night?
Oh, I also enjoy a sunny day like everybody else. But the night always has a certain je ne sais quoi of its own.
But what about the epidemic? The bombs and raids? And all the random violence?
Please, sir, this is London, England. We will prevail. And if a bomb must fall on my shop, then I'll be there to hear it falling.
How is this?
Life is good and peaceful. We're lucky to live in such an era of progress and wonders.
Are you not concerned about the epidemic?
Oh, I'm sure the authorities would take the appropriate measure if the danger were that high.
I'm afraid the newspapers are seriously underestimating the situation. Things are critical, believe me.
Well, that's news then. But I can't believe that things are that bad. Are you sure you're not exaggerating a bit? For the thrill of it?
What can you tell me about this place?
I recently found the best steak and kidney pie in the city. I'd be glad to share the address if you want.
Finding a good restaurant? Is that really all that interests you?
Oh, I have many passions, but nothing brings me ecstasy like subtle and exquisite flavors from my teeth to my belly.
I must confess, I have quite specific tastes when it comes to nutrition.
Really? Well, I'm always happy to try new exotic meals. If you ever find an intriguing table, please share the address.
Do you have any...
Not since my parents died. I'm London's lone gourmet.
London's lone gourmet? What a strange title.
I used that name in my early years when I was a food critic, and I kept it.
Really? But you seem to be such a pleasant and sociable fellow.
I'm afraid the real hedonist has to be sometimes. I discovered ecstasy as a solitary pleasure, but it does not mean it can't ever be shared.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual?
Not really. Wait, now that you mention it, I don't see the McPhersons in my favorite restaurants. They love delicate meals too, you understand.
Thank you. It may be nothing.
They have a house in the southern part of the district, somewhere north of the railway bridge. There is a courtyard, if I remember rightly.
Goodbye, Mr. Russell. I'm sure... Why are vampire hunters sniffing around here? I need to find out what they're after. I cannot enter.
women's right to vote is only the first step.
Over there!
That building is under quarantine. Could this be what I'm looking for?
You infected the whole family! I said I wanted to leave!
a mutation. Could it be a new stage in the disease's evolution? So the husband had an affair with Doris Fletcher.
Women's right to vote is only the first step.
This woman's body has multiple lacerations. They're deep, too. Whoever did this was driven by rage. He had his tongue removed and his eyes gouged out. He was a victim of brutal torture. This one's neck is broken. He was young. Probably the son.
You thought I was dead too, didn't you? No, I was just pretending. Doris told me I could have been a great actress.
You killed your family.
They mocked my talent. Ah!
So, this girl took lessons at the famous Doris Fletcher acting school. Doris Fletcher seems to be the missing link here. It can't just be a coincidence. I should go to her acting school.
Women die too in this war!
Maybe I should leave the city. London's more
They're all around you, waiting for you to take
Support the equality between men and women!
Leech spotted! Watch out, boys! Move! Be strong, brothers! I shall fear no evil! Elite! Elite!
Mine, I'll take it.
Look lightly! It's up to us!
murderous bastard!
This was an attack!
There's an open window on the second floor. I should be able to get in through that.
Woe to you, nations of hypocrites. For in front of you stands the tall queen. You can but lower
Can that be Doris Fletcher's voice? Where does it come from?
only love. Woe to you, nations of hypocrites. For in front of you stands the tall. Who are you? You who dared enter my realm. Are you here to worship or mock me?
I'm here to put an end to the vampire epidemic, Miss Fletcher.
Ah. But Doris Fletcher is no more. She was consumed by this putrid flesh that now enshrouds her.
You feel anger for what happened to you, but I can help you. I'm a doctor, Miss Fletcher.
Doris Fletcher is no more. All that remains are the dreams of the queen she was, and the queen she'll be. Until then, all shall die, for that was her final wish. Woe on my children!
My beloved, die for the
I smell your fear. Your hand is shaking. Touché, sir. You killed my father. Prepare to... Your hand is shaking. Ha ha! Touché, sir. Ha! Ha! I smell your fear. My children, my beloved, die for the love. Ha! Touche. Ah! Your hand is shaking. I smell your fear. Come to me, my son. On guard. Touché, sir. Your blood will be mine. Behold, Kinslayer, the disgrace of she once renowned. Will she be the queen again once they all share her fate? I smell your fear. Read my slave. My blade shall pierce. Ha! On guard. Ah! Ha! I smell your fear. Ha! 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 Your hand is. Ha! Touché, sir. Ha! Ha! On guard. My children, my beloved, dog. Ha! Ha! Your hand is shaking. Behold, Kinslayer, the disgrace of she who was once renowned. Will she be the queen again once they all share her fate? You killed my father. My blade shall pierce. Ha! 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 Your hand. Ha! Ha! On guard. Ha! Ha! Touché, sir. Hear and obey, for your queen commands you. Behold, Kinslayer, the disgrace of she whose beauty was once renowned. Will she be the queen again once they all share her fate? I smell you. My blade shall pierce your villainous heart. Ah! Ha! Touché, sir. Ha! Ha! Ah! Ha! On guard. Ah! Ha! Ha! Your hand is shaking. I smell you. I summon thee, my children of the night. Fight! Woe unto thee! Ha! Ha! Ha!
Touché, sir.
Behold, Kinslayer, the disgrace of she once renowned. Will she be the queen again once they all share her fate? You killed my father. Prepare to touche. Your hand is shaking. On guard. Arise and save. I smell your fear. My blade shall pierce your villainous heart, Dark Prince. Behold, Kinslayer, the disgrace of she. Will she be the queen again once they all share her fate? Your blood will be mine. Come to me, my servant. Avenge me. Woe unto thee, son of Babylon! You killed my father. Prepare to die. My children, my beloved, die for the love of me. I summon thee, my children of the night. Name, spit, kill! Woe unto thee, son of Babylon! Come to me, my servants! Avenge me! Wait. I beg you, wait.
What?
I don't want to die.
And I did not come to kill you, Miss Fletcher.
Will you spare me then? Save this cadaverous carcass of mine. Does your heart beat a little faster now? You fancy me then, Doctor?
No, Miss Fletcher. My dead heart will beat for only one.
Ah! Is she pretty? Is she sweet and tender?
To me, yes.
Ah! I hate her already.
I know. And this is partly why you must be destroyed.
But you just said...
That I did not come here to kill you, yes. But I realize now the threat you embody must be stopped.
Will I be remembered? Will you?
You were Doris Fletcher, the greatest actress of her generation. No one can take that from you.
Thank you. And farewell. Ah! Ah! Ah!
Farewell, Doris.
Bravo! So dramatic. I love it.
McCullum.
How strange I seem to find you whenever I'm inquiring about that Skal infestation.
I mean you no harm.
I'm not here for you. But once I've put all the pieces of the puzzle together, I'm sure we'll have a little chat, you and me.
Stay away from me, McCullum. You and all your war dogs.
That I can't guarantee, Dr. Reed. But I'll let you go. For now.
I should probably leave the theater right now.
Lord, give us strength!
The West End should be safe now. But London is not. It would be wise to benefit from the Ascalon's protection while I continue my research during the Great Hunt. These people want me dead. I need to leave now. So Doris just needed to be close to her audience to infect them. Contagion through skin.
Best
Very
stay
disturbing.
back, sir. Speak English, do ya?
women's right to vote is only the first step. Support the equality between men and women.
Welcome back, Dr. Reed.
Elizabeth, what are you doing here?
I've been formally asked to witness your triumph, my dear. After all, isn't it the natural role of a woman to support her man in victory?
But it's you who insisted I join the Ascalon.
Please forgive my giddiness. I'm just overcome by the thrill of finally being allowed within these hallowed halls.
You certainly have an inquisitive mind. It's quite something. Elizabeth Ashbury, only you can make me smile in these difficult times.
And the same to you, Jonathan Reed. Now go have your little chat with the chairman. I can see he's practically bursting to hear your report.
I have a boat ready to go whenever I want. These hunters won't catch.
I think we're safe for now. I pursued and killed the last hunter with my own hands as he tried to escape the club.
Welcome back to the Ascalon Club, Lance-Bearer. Please, tell us the good news. Have you put an end to the epidemic?
My hypothesis was correct. Doris Fletcher was the source of the contagion in this part of town. She was probably the first to be infected.
And you cleansed her before the hunters, I've been told. Well done, Dr. Reed. You thrust your lance and pierced the very heart of the corruption.
I did my best.
The important thing is, we won a major battle for the survival of London. For that, we salute you.
Thank you, my lord.
Now, I have another task for you. One of the utmost importance. Perhaps even more so than the previous.
I'm listening.
It's time for you to perform a most sacred duty for the club. I want you to recruit a new vampire.
Recruit a new vampire? Are you sending me on some sort of diplomatic mission?
Not exactly. I want you to make Aloysius Dawson the Ekon he deserves to be.
As you wish, my lord.
Good. Now go.
How would you like me to proceed?
Aloysius is waiting for you at the Dawson estate. Once the deed is done, I'll join you there to celebrate this momentous occasion.
Before I go...
All right.
Why Aloysius Dawson?
Because he is about to die. And he just may be the most influential man in England. After me, of course.
Did he choose me?
No, I did. My decision is very recent, to say the least, but it is entirely mine.
Does he know I'm coming?
He can't wait to become your progeny, Dr. Reed. Especially now that you have shown how strong your lineage is through your sister.
You invited Lady Ashbury. Wouldn't that be breaking one of your cardinal rules? No women allowed.
Not allowed as members, no. But considering the circumstances, I thought you'd like to have her here to witness your triumph.
So it's a temporary admittance, then?
Something of a bargain, considering the crisis we're currently facing.
How would you like me to proceed?
Don't worry. Aloysius has had many years to prepare himself. He has studied our kind for decades.
So shall I just let him drink my blood?
Yes. Aloysius will gratefully sup on your blood. His heart will slow, then stop. But he will rise again as one of us, an immortal.
Is there any danger?
Our blood alters a mortal body so deeply but some don't survive the metamorphosis. They die for good. But Mr. Dawson has been preparing himself for a long time.
Goodbye, Lord Redgrave.
Are you all right, Jonathan?
Lord Redgrave has just ordered me to turn Aloysius Dawson, to make him my progeny.
I see. And how do you feel about this?
I'd like your advice on the matter.
The real question here is, why has his lordship given you this task?
Do you think it's some sort of trap?
Do you really want to know what I think about this?
I do, yes.
To make an immortal of a soulless blackguard like Aloysius Dawson will only lead to a disaster for London. The man is already dead inside.
Should I refuse? Perhaps politely suggest that Lord Redgrave turn the man into a vampire himself.
Don't you dare, my dear. According to what I've recently discovered, his lordship could kill you for even broaching the subject.
Really? Why?
I've recently found proof that the Earl of Bristol is of lesser lineage and only capable of creating skulls.
Please tell me more about your recent investigation.
As long as you lower your voice.
Are you sure your information about Redgrave is correct? He says he's the progeny of the great knight William Marshall.
That's a lie. Lord Redgrave is unable to create anything but skulls, if the poor souls survive at all.
Why so vindictive? You suddenly sound like you're angry.
Forgive me, Jonathan. I hate myself for it, but I feel such pride in my discovery. I'm afraid I just can't help it.
Which is?
He did serve William Marshall. And yes, the blood he covets as a token does truly belong to that legendary knight. But he was never his progeny. His lineage is not so noble.
How can you be sure?
I made the acquaintance of a most interesting informer while investigating your maker, from whom I learned the truth about Lord Redgrave.
What would happen if I made Dawson an Ekon like myself?
You would add a powerful immortal into a suffering world. An immortal who already craves authority.
Maybe I could teach him control, like you taught me. Lead him down the right path.
Mr. Dawson spent his life searching for a way to cheat death. I'm sure he has spent decades dreaming of how he'd spend eternity as a tyrant.
What would you have me do about Dawson?
The man is dangerous. Did you know he plans to build a wall to separate the healthy rich from the sickly poor? Do not make him your progeny.
What would you do?
The man's dying already. Let the reaper harvest the rotten fruit that is his soul.
Goodbye for now, Elizabeth.
Goodbye, my dear. Please, be careful.
I must admit the Guard of Prewen impressed me. They must have spent years preparing.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Have a drink and enjoy this night. And I spotted at least 2 foreign...
Understandably, you have...
Good.
We shall chase these intruders down.
It looks like vampires have to obey Mendel's laws when producing progeny. Powers pass from one generation to another. That's why Dawson wants me to sire him.
Women of all countries unite! Women die too in this war!
Good evening. What do you need? You need some... Good evening. What can you tell me about Aloysius Dawson?
Well, I've discovered he's quite versed in occult knowledge. So I wrote him a letter asking him to finance my research about vampires. He never responded.
You Good evening.
Good evening.
Do you know anything about a man called Aloysius
I've never met the man personally, but I invested money in some of his companies when I came to London. A brilliant businessman.
Good. I need to find...
Don't trust him. He's looking for the same thing I was.
I need to...
Don't trust.
Women die too in this war.
It has been such a long... Goody.
Do you know anything about a man called...
He used to be a big spender. One day, he sent 3 houseboys to buy all the beluga in my shop. For his brother's birthday, if I remember correctly.
I see. Anything else? Less gastronomic, perhaps?
I really can't say. The man is filthy rich. But you know that, of course.
Goodbye, Mr. Russell. I'm sure you'll take... Good evening.
What?
Do you need... I will see you later.
Hungry. Where shall I eat tonight?
It's locked. I should find another way to get into the neighborhood.
I don't care!
I think this passage could lead me close to Aloysius Dawson's mansion.
This is my turn! Gotcha! You're bleeding. You cannot win this. Foolish Ekon. You shall learn to respect. Die! shall learn to respect the laws of Ascalon!
are you gonna keep me locked in here?
You look...
Let me go, you bastard! Disgusting asshole! Vampyr, I'll never be your wife! Let me go, you bastard! How long are you gonna keep me locked in here? Disgusting asshole! Vampire or not, I'll never be your wife! Let me go, you bastard! Disgusting asshole! Vampire or not, I'll never be your wife! How long are you gonna keep me locked in here?
Are you all right, Miss?
Who are you? What do you want from...
My name is Jonathan Reed. I'm a doctor.
I'm Louise Teasdale. I was kidnapped a few weeks ago by a vampire. Don't laugh, please, sir.
I believe you, Miss Teasdale.
That monster told me my father was dead.
You're safe now. You don't have to worry about the vampire. You should just return home.
Thank you, sir. I hope we'll meet again soon, because I'd really like you to teach me how to get rid of these creatures.
Goodbye.
Good evening, sir. May I ask you what you're doing here at this late hour?
I'm conducting an investigation about...
And who are you, sir?
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, from the Pembroke Hospital. May I ask...
I'm Detective Inspector Charles Albright from Scotland Yard. And I don't find your answers convincing. What is a Pembroke doctor doing in the West End at this time?
I really have no time for this, Detective Inspector.
I'm doing my job too, Dr. Reed. And mine consists of arresting criminals who feel they're above suspicion.
Do you know anything in particular?
Who doesn't know the man? I think he intervened personally to put an end to the police strike of last August.
What else can you tell me about him?
Aloysius Dawson is exactly the kind of powerful and influential man who could commit murder and get away with it, with just one phone call.
What are you...
I have a missing woman, possibly abducted a few nights ago. Louise Teasdale. It seems you already found my other missing person,
Mr. Tadao Kimura.
Tell me about Louise T.
She's a waitress. Her father...
Do you have any idea where she could be?
No. But I feel she...
What can you tell?
I'm the one asking questions. Especially when there's a killer on the loose.
What killer?
I'm not going to discuss that with the civilians, sir.
Haven't I told you about the investigation I'm conducting? Perhaps I could help you.
All right, without giving you too much information, I'll tell you this. I'm convinced there is a homicidal maniac on the loose, using the epidemic to disguise his kills.
And what about the epidemic?
We both know the situation is critical, don't we, Doctor? Colleagues of mine die almost every day.
What are you...
I told you. I'm a detective inspector from Scotland Yard, investigating suspicious cases in the area.
Do what?
Yes. The situation is difficult for the police. Many of us are sick, and since the summer strike, most men apply a work to rule on their patrols.
What about the situation in the East End? Why are there no police there to protect the civilians?
I know, it's a shame, but we just don't have enough men to cover the entire city.
Why are you investigating at night?
Criminals rarely act in daylight, you know. But since you are also a night worker, have you noticed anything strange?
Does the name Fergal ring a bell?
Of course it does. Fergal Bansha, the Butcher of Galway. Hung in Dublin in 1857 for murdering more than 20 men with his bare hands.
Tell me all you know about that homicide.
I'm not even sure there is only one. The wounds are always the same, but the modus operandi varies. Sometimes violent and brutal, sometimes precise and swift.
How could different killers inflict the same wounds?
That's my main problem. If my theory is correct, maybe we're facing a group of individuals sharing the same violent tendencies. Perhaps a sadist cult.
What are you investigating?
I have a...
Tell me...
No.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Dr.
Good evening, Miss Price.
Dr. Reed? Yes, of course, you are the doctor who healed me and my mum. Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Good to see you too, Carol. Are you all right?
Oh, yes. I did not hurt myself recently.
Have you ever met the famous Aloysius Dawson?
Yes. A very strange man. Not very nice.
What do you mean?
He said he was ready to pay good money for rare books, and then laughed at what we showed him.
Why are you awake?
I am helping my mother in her shop. It's not easy.
I'm sure your mother is great.
I do the best I can. But I'm so clumsy sometimes.
Why is work not easy?
Oh no, most people are gentle with me.
What can you tell me of the people living nearby?
I don't speak to many people, except our customers. It's not easy to make friends.
Have you no friends?
No. Mr. Nithercote used to pass by and was always nice to me.
Does he not come by?
No. Mum said he was weird. Always reciting poetry about a girl he'd met in Whitechapel. I wonder who this camellia may be.
What?
Some of our regular customers have left London. Some others only send their housemaids now. Everybody fears the contagion. I've even seen men with weapons.
Do you...
Oh yes, Doctor. My mother raised me alone after my father died. We've always lived together, and she has always... No, I was just a baby then. My mother always told me how strong and good he was.
Do you ever think about...
Oh no, Dr. Reed. Mum always says I'm still a child who has no idea how tough life can be. No husband would...
Goodbye.
Oh, I am sorry, I can't help you, sir. Perhaps you should talk with someone else instead.
Good evening, Miss Price.
Dr. Reed, I didn't know you had returned from the war. I had a new doctor when you left, but he's not as kind as you.
Always glad to see a former patient in good condition. It's been a long time.
Too long indeed. And as a token of my appreciation, I'll grant you the best price if you fancy buying anything from my humble shop.
Do you know Aloysius Dawson?
Everybody knows him. He's only been to my shop once, though, looking for rare books and other intriguing antiques.
Did he buy something from you?
No, he left quickly. He almost laughed at my goods. Mr. Dawson may be a rich man, but you can't buy good manners.
But isn't Aloysius Dawson known for his philanthropy?
That was before his brother Robert died in an aeroplane crash. Since then, the remaining twin has turned into a heartless tycoon.
Carol's gratitude is exemplary. She seems determined never to leave you.
I'm taking care of my daughter as well as I can. It's not always easy, but she's the best gift life gave me.
But she'll probably leave you someday to live her own life. Will that be difficult for you?
Why would she leave? Children sometimes stay with their parents until... I'm still managing my shop. The only difference is, since the quarantine, we're open at night. You, on the contrary, seem to have changed a lot.
Really? Have I changed?
Don't get me wrong, Dr. Reed, you're still handsome. Just maybe a little bit wiser, more serious. It suits you well.
Tell me more about yourself. No new fiancé? I remember you were hoping to get remarried. I'm sure you must have a few suitors.
Who would marry an old bat like myself with a grown daughter and a little business? As you know, I only fancy handsome men like yourself.
Have you noticed anything in particular?
Other than you coming back to cheer me up? Nothing at...
Good.
Dr. Reed, I am glad to see you again.
Good evening, sir. I am Dr. Jonathan...
Yes, please. Would you be kind enough to tell me what the time is?
That's all you need to know.
Well, is it not important to know?
I suppose you're right.
I am Agamemnon Baker. Like my brother, I think we need to leave this city immediately. And my brother and I rarely agree on anything.
What can you tell me?
You should ask that question to my brother instead. Personally, I've not seen Aloysius for many years.
May I?
I don't know. You should ask my brother instead. It was his idea in the first place.
You must have your own...
From what I have managed to understand, I guess...
May I ask why you've not gone already, if you're so exasperated by this long wait?
I believe fear is holding us back. My brother would have said it's laziness, but it's just because he's prouder than us.
What can you tell me about this part of town?
It's the only place I've considered myself happy. Or at least that's what I believe. Unfortunately...
Why is that?
Because I'm not feeling happy here.
No, I'm not.
Good for you. It's a good thing to have a clear idea of where you stand concerning crucial questions.
What?
He's older than me, I think. But the important thing is that I really hope I'll die before him. Grief would just kill me, you know?
Is that all?
Pericles is very attached to this city, and without my insistence...
Who are you waiting for?
The more I think about it, the more I believe it's not exactly a person we are waiting for.
But what else could it be?
I don't know. A feeling? An event?
I'm afraid I'm not following you. What kind of trap are you?
Have you ever felt like life trapped you in a role that does not fit you? That you are not in your place? That sort of trap.
Trap? And you think leaving London will free you?
At least it will give us the chance to be free. That's more than our present situation. Hope.
Good. Good evening, sir. I'm
Dr. Reed?
Is there anything wrong?
No, it's just... your name sounds familiar.
I think I would remember. So...
That's odd. I'm certain I've already heard of you. My name is Pericles Baker.
I'm afraid not, sir. But it's a...
The pleasure is mine, I guess. I only wish I could remember when it was that we met.
What?
I've heard this is a man who has searched for his place in the world for a long time. I hope he found.
And what do you do, sir?
I stopped working when I decided to leave. When I realized what I wanted. Wanted something this city can't provide.
But what were you doing before you took this decision?
Does it really matter anymore? Considering the past seems so pointless to me. I have lived in this city all my life.
Tell me more about why you want to leave London, then.
I just don't belong here anymore. I had to convince my brother to leave London because I know we need to find another life out of the city. As you like asking questions so much, would you allow me to ask you one first?
Please.
Do you like this city?
I know we are not living in the most peaceful of times, but I have learned to appreciate London's complexity.
Yes, me too. This city tests us.
But what if we don't like what we find?
Do we ever know who we are?
Pericles, tell me why your brother disagrees with...
Agamemnon is naive sometimes.
At least...
But is that not a common problem for all mortals?
What can you tell me about...
If you are searching for a pleasant chat, you should speak with him instead of wasting your time with me. He's always been the more gentle of us.
That's it? That's all you...
For the time being, true kindness is the most valuable...
Tell me...
We are waiting.
And why are you waiting?
Because we need to leave this city.
Why do you want to leave the city?
I'm not really sure.
Who are you waiting?
I really can't answer that question, since I'm...
And why is...
This person is mostly my brother's acquaintance. I don't even know his real name. Only...
But why would you need this person's help to leave London anyway?
Well, I thought we should have left this cursed place already, but my brother convinced me to stay a while longer, and...
Goodbye.
Perhaps London will... Jonathan Reed. At last we meet. The cards warned me you would visit tonight.
I beg your pardon, sir.
Of course you do. Our mutual friend, Dr. Swansea, can't speak highly enough of you. My name is Usher. Usher Talltree.
You are the leader of the Brotherhood, are you not?
Primate of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole, to be precise. I'm really glad we met tonight. I love it when
The cards told you to expect me.
Yes, they tell me everything. They told me that you struggle hard not to take too many lives.
What can you tell me about the neighborhood? So you see nothing in the stars for me? You're a...
Oh, I can tell you many things, but they will only concern you, not the city. For example, I know that you offered your sister the final rest she asked for.
Do the cards?
No. It's the burning aura of guilt that precedes you everywhere you go.
Read my fortune, then.
You have been chosen, Jonathan. I see on you the mark of a strong being, so powerful it needn't even reveal its strength.
Tell me about yourself.
I'm for most a charlatan. For a few, I'm a vampire. And for you, I'm the primate of St. Paul's Stole.
Some believe you to be a vampire. Who?
The Guard of Priwen. Who else? For a time, they sent spies to observe my activities, and they even broke into my home to gather proof.
Did they steal anything from you?
A personal notebook they quickly took to their headquarters. All they had to do is to look at me. I'm aging. What better and definite proof that I'm not an immortal?
Do you want your notebook back?
If you ever find it, I'd be glad to have it back, of course. I do ask one thing, though. Do not read it, Jonathan. Some secrets are not meant to be revealed, even to immortals.
For how long have you been a primate?
It was 15...
What do you make of Dr. Swansea?
Edgar is a brilliant and dedicated man. A man of his time, sometimes a little muddled, but always looking for new paths and new concepts.
Can you read the cards for me?
Are you sure you want to know what they will reveal?
Yes, I am.
It will cost you 150 shillings.
Here is the money.
Death. A broken mind trapped in a deceptive body. One who sees her has witnessed the walking dead. Blood. Fear.
Is there anything you could tell me about
Aloysius Dawson? Yes, of course, we met...
He's not the only one. It's been quite the fashion for several decades. The Golden Dawn, for instance, is just one example.
True. Aloysius was a member of the Golden Dawn until 1900. Then his thirst for dark knowledge grew. I'm talking forbidden texts, readings which blackened his...
Goodbye, sir.
I rarely wander, yet it amuses me to converse with your kind. Cards never lie, but they are never easy to read.
Ain't safe here for a gentleman.
Elise!
Roll back to hell, that barge! Oh no!
Dawson's mansion. Here I am at last. But the question remains, am I ready to make a dying man my progeny?
Finally, you're here, Dr. Reed. What took you so long?
I had to pass several of your barricades and outposts to access your mansion, sir.
Death, pestilence surround us, and time is against me.
I see you've gathered some of the most expensive, albeit experimental, blood transfusion equipment available. All this could be so useful in a hospital.
Yes, yes. Since Lord Redgrave sent me a doctor to perform my conversion, I thought you might find some of these devices useful.
Most thoughtful. But tonight I'm not here as a physician.
But I feel reassured that a specialist such as yourself would help me to escape the Reaper.
Very well. But before I proceed, I have a few questions for you.
If you must, but be quick, for I don't have much time left in this life.
First of all, I need to be sure that you know exactly what is going to...
I can assure you I'm as informed as any man can be. I have planned for this moment, Dr. Reed. Planned very carefully.
Sir, I'm going to end your life. Do you not wish to discuss the procedure for even a minute?
I don't have a minute to indulge in idle chatter. I can't feel my legs. And the cold. So cold.
You'll need to feed on warm blood. Blood from mortals. How do you feel about that?
I'm rich, Dr. Reed, and powerful. I'm sure I'll be able to acquire all the blood I need without ever having to sully my own hands.
I will become your maker. Do you understand what that means?
Well, I certainly won't consider you my liege, or some such drivel. You can be assured of that.
What do you know about the Guard of Priwen?
What I do know is that I'll crush anyone or anything that would dare to oppose me.
Let's move on, then.
Please, I'm cold and tired. I feel my life waning with every moment.
But first, before you embrace immortality...
That's a rather impertinent question, Dr. Reed.
Answer me all the same. What will your first action be as an immortal?
To save London. I will finance the most efficient quarantine.
You really plan to build a quarantine wall?
Yes, it will be tall and strong, separating the wheat from the chaff.
By doing...
Come, sir. An eminent doctor like yourself knows that such radical measures have proved efficient in the past.
Let me guess. You mean to isolate the rich?
This is a desperate measure for desperate times. England must prevail, Doctor, no matter the...
Quarantine is not a bad idea, medically speaking. But I'm convinced this epidemic will not be contained by mere walls.
As long as the right people are on the right side of the wall, that's all that matters.
But you can't guarantee infection will not spread. Just one contagious carrier would be enough to create an apocalypse.
The apocalypse is already knocking at the gate. We must be strong now.
What if a new outbreak happens inside your walls? You'll have created a...
That won't happen. As long as we dispose of anyone that is contaminated, as soon as they are spotted.
Who gave you the right to decide the fate of...
My money. My money and my pending immortality gives me the needed authority, Doctor. I'm a businessman. I'm used to tough decisions.
I've heard enough. It's time to proceed.
At last. All right, do what you have to do. If it hurts, so be it. I've been preparing such a long time for this.
Listen to me, Aloysius Dawson. You will forget your fear of dying, for it has poisoned your mind and made you bitter and ruthless since the death of your twin brother.
You don't understand. Death is oblivion, the eternal void. I know there's nothing there. I saw it in Robert's empty eyes. I saw myself in that coffin.
Death is painful for those who remain, not for those who have passed. All that occult gibberish you filled your head with has made you forget this simple truth.
No! Death will not claim me. I have the power and the money. I've acquired the arcane knowledge needed. I believe there is magic, there are dark forces. You will provide me my extension.
Your ignorance makes you a fool. You have no idea. Look at me. Hunted like a beast, my family lost, cursed. I have not escaped death, I have become it.
No, there must be a way. I don't want to go like my brother did. I have money, lots of money.
Money won't ease your mind. I know you used to be a good and generous man. So I offer you the gift of peace, Aloysius. The tranquility of a true death.
I accept your offer. And I understand. No more fear, I will die a man of dignity. And a man at peace.
Is it done, Dr. Reed? Is Aloysius Dawson reborn, as expected?
I'm afraid Mr. Dawson finally chose to embrace life and death as a mortal.
What do you mean?
He has overcome his fear of dying. I let him rest and wait for death to come.
What? This is unacceptable. Go back there and make him the powerful Ekon he's destined to be.
No, Lord Redgrave. As a doctor and as an immortal, I can't. If you wish to make him your progeny, then proceed on your own.
This is an outrage beyond words. This is betrayal, pure and simple. I should kill you on the spot. You swore on William Marshall's blood.
Well, get rid of me then.
From now on, you're an outcast. Banished. You are forbidden to ever appear in front of us again. Ascalon will smite you on sight, and your heart will be thrown to the rats.
I'll leave you then. Have fun with your puppets and shadow plays, Lord Redgrave.
Yes, go, traitor, and take that awful creature, that counterfeit of a woman I saw waiting for you, and be gone!
Step away, traitor. Return to your dubious friends and your decrepit hospital. Do not dare show yourself again, you or that monstrosity you bring to my door.